A very good day to one and all present here. My name is Shreya Kannan and I am from Bangalore, India. I am currently in grade 12 and I am part of the topic focus program. The research topic that I chose is adaptable versus non-adaptable industries, financial and HR management during the pandemic. I would like to express my gratitude towards Mr. Brendan Comiskey, PhD scholar from Washington University in St. Louis, for his mentorship throughout the program. As we all know, since the inception of the pandemic in March 2020, there has been a massive restructuring in the economy. Due to lockdowns and social distancing restrictions, hotels, airlines have been shut down. But there's also been a silver lining to the pandemic, which is digitization and virtual services. This paradox created in the economy intrigued me, and I wanted to explore more on how this difference in business adaptability kindles this paradox. In the context of this paper, business adaptability refers to how quickly businesses can change or transform their product and workspaces into remote alternatives. Business adaptability also refers to the number of available financial resources for each industry. To derive a relationship between how business adaptability leads to various responses to the pandemic, I chose three industries that vary on the basis of adaptability. The first industry that I chose is the hospitality sector, which has limited scope and rigid business models which cannot be converted into virtual alternatives. The education sector has a higher scope than the hospitality industry, but it is subjected to constraints in rural areas. On the other hand, the digital sector has the greatest scope with the least amount of limitations. The two methods that I chose for this research paper are literature review and the case study methodology. The reason why I chose literature review is because I wanted a holistic and global perspective. I studied around 16 papers and around 5 papers per industry. My papers were from the International Journal of Hospitality, Education, and Google Scholar. After studying these papers, I compared each industry on the basis of the following parameters. First, impact of pandemic. Second, adaptability of product or service. Third, financial impact. And fourth, human resource management. The other method that I chose was qualitative analysis through case studies. With the literature review, I had gained a holistic perspective, but I wanted to understand the impact at an employee level. So, I interviewed three senior executives per industry who represented organizations from different socioeconomic backgrounds. For the hospitality sector, I spoke to managers of a 3-star, 5-star hotels and a homestay in India. For the digital sector, I spoke to a CEO of a tech startup and a vice president of an MNC. In the education sector, I interviewed deans of a government and private institution in India and an executive of a government school. After literature review and qualitative analysis, these are my findings. With respect to the hospitality sector, the level of adaptability is very low, due to which the impact of the pandemic was very severe, leading to many hotels to shut down and face chronic disruptions. The hospitality sector incurred severe losses, and employees faced layoffs, wage cuts, and experienced anxiety and depression. And very few remote and virtual alternatives could be provided. In the education sector, the overall effect was moderate. Some schools were able to function while others faced disruptions. Overall, educational institutions incurred losses but were able to manage. Teachers had mixed reviews about the new e-learning system, and some institutions could provide e-learning alternatives. The digital sector has very high levels of adaptability, and companies flourished and functioned without much hindrance. IT companies incurred high profits and employees were happy with the new work from home system and received salary hikes. The shift from physical to remote workspaces was seamless. Thus, we can infer an inverse relation between the level of adaptability and the severity of impact and response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Businesses should incorporate more adaptability practices to cope up with unprecedented situations. Thank you.